Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv. Well, I was out earlier in the village where I live, and what I was doing, I was going to make a video later when I got home, but then met up with a couple of friends. A couple of them are big Blues, some United fans, etc. And basically, I thought, well, I'll ask them some questions on the content of the video, and that was about Pep Guardiola and his backroom staff, and do we really know that much about them? Because until I did a bit of research, I obviously knew their faces, but didn't really know much about who they were and what their background was. So I started off with asking one of the guys, Phil, who's a big Blue, and said to him, who are these guys? Threw some names at him, and surprise, surprise, he did the same thing as many people have spoken to. So this is Phil. Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv. As part of this latest video, I just thought I'd catch up with some Man City fans that I know of, long-time Man City fans, and just ask them a few questions with regards to some of the coaching stuff that Pep has at the moment. So I'm going to ask Phil here just a few names and see if he recognises who they are. Okay, so this is Phil, big Man City fan. So Phil, first question: any idea who Dominic Torrent is?
No, never heard of him.
Never heard of him?
No.
What if I told you he was Pep's assistant coach?
Still no.
Still no?
If I saw a picture, probably yes, but never not heard the name.
Well, that's the idea of this. Okay, second question: what about Carles Planchart?
Is he a fitness coach?
Oh, actually, yeah, he's the Man City performance analyst. So, yeah, you're pretty close there. What about? Let me throw one more at you then. What about Rodolfo Borrell?
No.
Okay, no? Guys, so as you can see, this is just one Man City fan, a big Blue that I've known for many years, and he's no idea who these people are, because we see them every match, we see them in press conferences and after-match appearances, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of background to these faces and a little bit about what they do at Manchester City, so we'll see you soon. Now this is Dominic Torrent. He's been working with Pep since 2007 when Pep was the Barcelona B coach. They won, both of them won promotion at their first attempt. He's played professionally for some bizarre clubs, UE Olot, Palamos, but he also played for Girona, and ironically he's now been linked with Girona, one of our feeder clubs, as their next new manager. He's one of Pep's most trusted lieutenants, and you see Pep constantly chatting to him on the bench during games. At Bayern and also at Barca, Torrent would actually give the team talks as well, so I wonder if he does that at City. He focuses heavily on youth players, and in the first season working together at Barcelona, no less than 8 academy players graduated into the first team. So it would be a shame if he does leave for Girona, and he was also noted as having lunch with senior Girona figures a few days ago. So if he does leave and takes up the managerial role there at Girona, who will become Pep's number 2 if he does? Next on the list is this guy, is Carles Planchart. He's the Man City performance analyst. He's also been with Pep since 2007, the same time when Torrent joined Pep's backroom staff. He's responsible for the analysis, for analysing the collective, individual, strategic and also the technical aspects of the team's play, which he then passes on to Pep to review, which often means Pep then working with individual players on a one-to-one basis on the training ground. Raheem Sterling, for example, is a classic of, we've seen images last season of Pep guiding him and telling him how to turn his body. A lot of that detail has come from Planchart. He's renowned for his attention to detail, and in 2015 he actually revealed some of the secrets of how the coaching team operate, and I'd like to just read a couple of his quotes. He said, "There are basically two parts to this job: the analysis of your own team and that of your opponent. And there are two entirely different tasks. You're working in a club that has a game every 3 days, so you don't just have time to correct all their mistakes on the pitch. You therefore need to use other methods to communicate the corrections which are impossible to get through to them during a game. If you happen to have a whole week of training sessions, then of course you can plan a series of exercises to correct errors. Often the most efficient method is to show them visual images, because that gets the idea across very quickly." He's basically been called Pep's secret weapon. And in the book Pep Confidential, if you haven't read it before, which is an excellent book by Marty Perinow, Planchard gave another insight into the way which he and Guardiola work with his teams. He said Pep always likes to see the whole match, and we load it onto his computer as soon as the match is over. He might then look at the whole game or watch a particular moves we've categorised either by player or by the type of move, or under different tactical headings. He also find my notes there, both details from the match and specific things we've agreed to watch out for. As well as getting the match broken down like this, Pep likes to review the match himself, and he produces his own analysis. Next up is this guy. This is Lorenzo Buenaventura, and he's the fitness coach at Manchester City, and he joined Pep's coaching team in 2008 whilst at Barcelona. After helping Barca and Bayern to become two of Europe's most intensive sides, he's now working with the City squad to build stamina and pace, which is a trademark of any Pep team. He ensures that players obtain maximum fitness levels that are required to play the aggressive press that Pep teams like to implement. We've seen how, certainly this season, we've kept going right towards the end of games when the opposition have got tired, and we've managed to pull out some last-minute winners, Raheem in particular, and that have got us 3 points, or even a point, which has been important in amassing the 100 points that we got last season. He's also involved in planning specific training sessions and individual player programs, and he's got an unrivaled reputation for helping injured players rehabilitate very quickly. And we saw on a few occasions last year, in particular Kevin De Bruyne, after that horrendous tackle on him in the Palace game, there was rumours that he would be out for up to 2 weeks. Well, I think 3-4 days later, he played a full 90 minutes again. So this guy's got an exceptional reputation around in the world of football. Hi guys, I had to quickly switch there because my battery went dead because I wasn't planning on shooting this video, and so I've just switched to my iPhone and carrying on. Well, Mikel Arteta is the next one. I think most of us know quite a lot about Mikel, and this is Arteta's first full-time coaching role, and as we know lately, he's just been interviewed for the Arsenal manager's job, which he wasn't successful at. However, Arteta started life at Barcelona's youth academy before spending time on loan at Paris Saint-Germain. He eventually joined Rangers in Scotland. After 2 years, he left for Real Sociedad, but after 1 season he left to come back to Everton, where he stayed for 7 years, playing over 200 times for the Toffees. In 2001 he left the Toffees for Arsenal before joining Pep's coaching staff, and if Dominic Torrent leaves, well, will Arteta become Pep's number 2? I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see. This guy is Rodolfo Borrell. He has a reputation for nurturing some of the world's most precocious talents, and in fact he was Lionel Messi's first coach at Barcelona, and he also helped to develop players like Cesc Fabregas and Iniesta during his time at the Camp Nou. Before joining Pep's team, he was the technical director and head of coaching at Liverpool's academy, working with a young Raheem Sterling then. Then in 2014 he took up the role of City's Global Technical Director, working with New York City FC and also the Man City Women's England players, and now he's an assistant coach alongside Pep at Manchester City. This is Xavi Mancisidor, and he's now the head of goalkeeping at Manchester City. His playing career was surprisingly short, hailing from sort of the Basque Country. He only played about 21 professional games before joining Real Sociedad as their youth goalkeeping coach. Shortly after that, he was promoted to the first team goalkeeping coach, and after 11 years there, he joined Manuel Pellegrini at Man City and stayed on in that role when Pep joined. And last but not least, famous face, ex-Blue, is this guy. Now, as we know, Brian Kidd, or Kiddo, played for both Man City and United in an illustrious career spanning 17 years. He played for United, City, Arsenal, Everton, Bolton Wanderers, before moving to the United States, where he played for Atlanta Chiefs, Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and finally Minnesota Strikers. He played 545 first-team professional games, scoring 215 goals, which is a pretty decent strike rate. He got into management where he managed teams like Barrow, Preston North End, before going back to United as their youth team manager in 1988. In 1991 he became United's first-team assistant coach, working under Ferguson, and had spells also at Blackburn Rovers, Leeds, Sheffield United, Portsmouth and England before coming home to City as the assistant coach in 2009. Kiddo is obviously admired and loved by everyone he's worked alongside, especially the players, and has brought some sort of transitional continuity between the managers and players at Manchester City over the last 9 years. In an interview 10 days after the famous Aguero goal, he said, "I don't think I'll ever see a finish like that again in my lifetime," and he probably won't. Kiddo's just turned 68 this week, so happy belated birthday to Kiddo from mcfcfantv, and let's hope we see you around the club for many more years to come. So that's just a quick update. Like I said, I asked many people who are Blues and wanted to know what they knew about the careers of Pep's coaching staff, and what it seems like we all seem to sort of recognise faces, but we don't really know a great deal about them. So hopefully that's give you a little bit of an insight into Pep's backroom staff and the massive contribution that they've made towards certainly last season's success, and hopefully continued success in the years to come while Pep is at Manchester City. So don't forget, guys, please click subscribe on the YouTube channel. We really do need your subscribers. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, and the Twitter account is at mcfcfantv1, and that's all capitals. You can also follow my personal account, which is at aviationblue, or you can also follow Ray's account, which is mancity_Ray. And please comment below if there's anything else, any ideas that you think maybe we should be doing some videos on this or that, then please get in touch with us. We've also got a Gmail account, and that is mcfcfantv@gmail.com, and you can send your requests, and if we can do it, we'll do it. We've got some World Cup updates, we've got some transfer videos coming out soon, and next week we've got a couple of interviews with the Ginger Wig, and we'll get those posted as soon as the interviews are completed. And hopefully next week I'll also be interviewing an ex-Manchester City captain, and that should be eventful. So please, guys, have a fantastic weekend, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon.